President Biden said yesterday that he's not confident he'd be seeking another term in the White House if Donald Trump was not running.
Would you be running for president if Trump wasn't running?
I expect so, but look, he is running, and I have to run.
Would you drop out if Trump runs out?
No, not now.
So part of the reason he was asked that is because earlier in the day, Mr. Biden attended 3 fundraiser events in Boston where he made very similar comments. So for more on this, we are joined by CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. So Ed, what is the backstory for the president's comments, and how is his campaign explaining this? Does he want to run for re-election or not?
They had to do some explaining last night after those comments surfaced, guys. Remember, go back to 2019 when he launched his campaign for president, and he said, I wouldn't be running for president had Donald Trump not been elected, had certain things not happened that were inspired by Trump's rhetoric and actions. Most notably, of course, that incident in Charlottesville, Virginia, and the Unite the Right rallies there. What campaign aides say he was trying to reiterate last night is essentially that sort of mission that he's been on, that he's doing this only because he was concerned about Donald Trump, wanted to restore and sustain democracy, and fears that if Donald Trump were to win again next year, American democracy as we know it would be changed forever. But the thing with this president is whenever he goes into one of these closed-door fundraisers where they allow in print reporters, but they don't allow in our colleagues who run cameras, he has a tendency to say or do things that make news. It just happens to be that he does and says those things without cameras rolling. And so you saw him last night, very late, getting back here to the White House. Normally would just wave to the reporters waiting for him out there. I think someone told him, you better go clarify and explain what exactly you meant by those comments, because they caused a lot of intrigue when they surfaced after that event in Boston.
Gotta love those unscripted President Biden moments. The president's set to meet virtually with G7 leaders today. What can we expect to come out of that meeting?
Yeah, and before I answer that, we should also point out he is set to raise about $15 million at least this week for his re-election campaign at a series of these closed-door fundraisers. This G7 meeting is one of the few official things on his calendar this week as he focuses mostly on campaign politics. Haven't gotten a good official explanation from any of the G7 leadership as to why they're doing this, but remember, they have been holding these meetings off and on, every so often, to stay on the same page, in essence, on global issues. Right now, of course, most urgently, the situation in Ukraine and whether or not only the United States, but various European powers will continue to provide military and economic assistance to that country. And then, of course, the situation in the Middle East. Same deal there. To what extent are these countries going to continue to provide assistance or support to Israel? Do they know things about what is going on there that the others need to know? It's essentially a check-in meeting, it looks like. But again, one of the few official items besides a stop at a tribal, Native American tribal conference here in Washington later today.
All right, Ed O'Keefe at the White House for us. Ed, thanks.